What have we made of Argentina? I've been fascinated and infuriated by them, I'll be honest, at times. They are a fascinating team. You know, we've been talking to Paul Hurst, our Times reporter, who's been with Argentina the whole time. We've heard from him on the podcast. He's written brilliant articles. And I was chatting to him after this Switzerland game, as well as hearing from him on the pod, and we're just like, I've done it again. They've done it again. You know, we're talking about England not playing well. His view is that Argentina haven't played well in these knockout games in particular. You know, blew everyone away in a very easy group stage, but they have Lionel Messi, so they've always got a chance. But they're very good from set pieces. They're absolutely elite with their game management. They foul and get away with it like no team I've ever seen before. And they've got I realise they've got every Premier League team's like scrapper. They've got every Premier League team's player that the opposition hate. Enzo Fernandez, Lisandro Martinez, Emi Martinez, McAllister. Like, they've got... Romero, the ultimate. Even Tottenham fans didn't like him at the end. Like, they've got every single one of those players in that team scrapping, falling over. Like, it's one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. Anyone think they're actually any good?
Well, it's not that dissimilar to Qatar. We've said this all the way through.
Yeah, no,
it's not that dissimilar. Like, they're a team set up to put Messi on his pedestal and hope they creates a moment of magic. Look, we should say Julian Alvarez created the moment of magic in the last game. But they've needed extra time to get through against Cape Verde, and Egypt and Switzerland. They were going out with 11 minutes to play against Egypt. So you're right, like there's clear flaws in the team. And as much as you say they're a great, like, gnarly and experienced and all that, they've looked shaky defensively for large periods of games as well. But they are finding a way, and they've got huge experience, and they know all the kind of dark arts, and it's not just them. Like, England are starting to get good at them too, which is no bad thing. And they do still have moments players too. The players of real, like, world-class ability who can win a game. That Alvarez goal was an absolute beauty. But you're right, mostly it's a dogged team that plays really kind of compact and narrow football. They've got hardly any width. And they hope for a moment from Messi.
Yeah, Tony?
I think they're a far better team with Lautaro Martinez in it. I think when he comes on and just leads the line like he does, because he's another player that digs deep and it seems to fit a bit better for them. I don't think they've got a lot of pace in midfield. You know, like, McAllister's not quick. Enzo Fernandez is not quick. You know, you can look at De Paul. He's got more energy. Yeah. But I do think they lack that ability in midfield to get as close to the opposition, even though they do commit a lot of fouls. Yeah. I think it's because they're not that quick in midfield. You mentioned the back line. The back line against Switzerland, 3 of the 4 got substituted in that final part of the game. Yeah. You know, because the manager had seen that they were struggling defensively. Even though Switzerland went to 10 men, I think England can beat what I've seen of Argentina. And I get all the magic moments. But that team has got away with it by hook or by crook. And they sort of got away with it in the World Cup, as Gregor said, in Qatar.
Tom? But they could say the same about England.
That's exactly.
I mean, you know, Argentina journalists will be sitting down.
I think a little bit worse. I think they've got away with a little bit more than England have.
I think, to your point, I was thinking about you talking about, you know, England have beaten Congo and then they've beaten Mexico, then they've beaten Norway. And I'm like, it's the same thing with Argentina. You know, it's the same thing. Cape Verde, you know, Egypt, Switzerland. It's basically the same map to this point, isn't it, really, in terms of levels? But I'd say Argentina have looked shakier, conceded goals, you know, not gone down to 10 men, not quite had the same resilience in moments that England have needed. They've kind of had moments that are a little bit easier. Like, I cannot stress to you enough, for anyone who's not watched the entire Switzerland game, they were absolutely out on their feet. But we can't, like 55 minutes. There was a moment just before Switzerland equalised where they had every player behind the ball. Lisandro Martinez won a tackle and just booted it downfield. It was like the moment in an FA Cup game when, like, the League One side
did you see England
clinging on.
Did you see England play Mexico though?
Yeah, they had 10 men, Tom. They had 10 men. They had 10 men. Argentina had 11. Yeah. Like, it was crazy.
I mean, Egypt game.
We can't pull the Mexico game and say England are taking all this resilience and spirit and and actually Argentina are sort of done the same thing. Yeah. They'll be saying the same things. We've done it the hard way. We won ugly. We feel like we've got this togetherness now going into the semi-finals. Yeah. They'll be saying the same thing. I think as well, like, they have. I look at the team, the Argentinians. I take Tony's point a lot about midfield particularly, but I do think they've got slightly more quality, you know, in the final third. They've got more. I think they've got more technicians in there. I mean, I take the point about the kind of scrappers and there's a lot of players who irritate the hell out of you. Fine. but Enzo Fernandez can play. You know, like Julian Alvarez is a 150 million pound player if you ask Real Madrid. You know, like Lautaro Martinez, you know, one of the best kind of European forwards of the last decade.
I agree, but
you have players there who can either come off the bench or who can deliver a moment. If I look at England's, you know, attack, it's Bellingham and Kane and a bit of other stuff. But Argentina, they have a team. They do have a team.
Yeah, I mean, where do we think this game will come down to then? We'd keep talking about Lionel Messi and Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane, of course, but like around the edges then, where is that where this game's going to be won and lost in terms of the players around and who wins those individual battles? Because there will be a battle, I'm telling you. There'll be a lot of falling on the floor in this game. I can promise you that.
Yeah, control of the midfield, I think, will be key. You know, how fit is Rice? You know, is he able to deliver a big performance in this game? I think is a massive question for England. I think getting control. I mean, I can see this one being tight. I can see it going to penalties. It's that kind of game where it can just sort of, it'll be about a moment, you know, here or there.
Keeping 11 on the pitch is going to be a big one.
Yeah. I think the fullbacks, Argentina's fullbacks, can be got at too. Molina and Tagliafico, they're not rapid. They're not, and as I said, they don't. Tagliafico a bit more so than Molina. They don't offer a great deal. They maybe get up and support attacks, but they don't play with any width. So they've got a lot of responsibility, both going forward and defensively. And I'm not sure if Gordon and whoever plays on the right is on their game. I think that's an avenue that England can definitely exploit.
We haven't mentioned Messi either.
Yeah.
I mean, Messi's in the team. How have we had a 10-minute chat about Argentina without mentioning it? I mean, and also not playing against England in his career is an interesting thing. Like Messi quite likes to sort of tick every single box, and he has. And I remember when he played for Barca, there'd be sometimes a little quirky statistic where, you know, he hasn't scored against Sevilla for 10 matches. Hat trick. You know, like he likes to put a stamp on those kind of little things where people say, well, you haven't played against England before. You know, like, okay, you'll want to score against England, 100%.
And it's been ignored as well. He's got 15 goals in the last 2 World Cups so far, Lionel Messi. And it's likewise with Mbappe, he's done exactly the same. And all the talk before the Norway game was Haaland and Kane. And they were probably the two most underwhelming, as in what we know they're capable of, that didn't happen. You know, Lionel Messi is a player that I feel is all structured about just, and it's an obvious one, but getting him in certain parts of the game in position to make the difference. And he does it.
That's my point about, you're quite right, Enzo Fernandez is a very good midfielder. But that's what's been fascinating watching it, is that it is so geared to Lionel Messi that it's like a lot of these players turn off their like technical ability and just turn up. They're like, come on, we're Argentina. I mean, like Alvarez, even after this game, he scored one of the best goals of his career, probably most important goals of his career, one of the best goals of the tournament. He comes out and he's like, we did it all for Lionel. Absolutely all for Lionel. And like, do you want to big yourself up a little bit, mate? You've just bent one into the top corner from a ridiculous distance. He's like, no, all for Lionel. That is who
but
we're
they all
here
run
for
him, don't they?
Oh, God. Well, they've got to.
Yeah, they've got to,
because
he's good. But it's amazing to see that none of them have an issue with it. I mean, it helps when he delivers so regularly. That makes a big difference.
England's defence then, we're talking, Tony, you're praising Lautaro Martinez. Julian Alvarez has scored a wonder goal, and there's some bloke called Messi that England need to worry about. Where are England's defence at, Gregor? Because it's been a much changed defence. I thought in terms of maybe if we could look at silver linings and Tony's idea of England peaking, John Stones coming back into the team and delivering a big, experienced performance against Norway.
One of several who was stretching out his calves or his hamstrings or whatever throughout the second half and extra time.
I know.
The recovery is going to be like, they'll do nothing between now and the game. And Reece James has just come back. Jed Spence was the one who came in and looked like he had all the energy. And
the Jed Spence off the bench cameos they're up there with Dan Burn, aren't they? In terms of like comes on, makes an amazing tackle, and has Jude Bellingham coming up to him, going, "You're a legend, mate!" Absolutely class. It's very, very odd. Right then, who's winning? England v Argentina. Who makes the final? Tony?
I think England. I've always said they'll beat Argentina.
Why?
Why? Because I just think they've got a little bit more quality in certain areas. I think they're a bit more of a team and they haven't played their best. Well, I don't see a much bigger improvement on Argentina. I thought that you mentioned getting away with it, and we said England have as well, which is a fair point. But boy, the Egypt game, they were literally taken apart by Egypt in periods where it could have easily got away from them.
Yeah, I think they might lift their game a little bit for England. Tom?
I think Argentina. Sorry.
It's funny that
the press are all against England.
Yeah, the press are all against England. Here we go. It's funny. Tom doesn't say things through gritted teeth. He says it through a wry smile. He's like, I just can't bring myself to do it. Gregor, now remember, you've got your Cape Verde shirt on.
Scale here. I've been fighting an urge, so I'm not going to fight to think that England could smash them. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know why. I just think I think Argentina.
I wouldn't be
aren't
surprised.
Great, and I think they're so reliant on Messi turning up and being given and creating a moment of magic. Otherwise, they've been big flaws in their team, and as I said, I think out wide they have flaws, and I think they've also stretched it in periods of games. And like for a team that is trying to be compact and sort of disciplined, that's alarm bells.
If they smash them, though, we'll be seeing in England we haven't seen in the tournament, right? Like it will be in England we think we can see, but we haven't seen actually in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So has Gregor lost the plot as well? Everyone keeps talking about me losing.
I think England will win, and I wouldn't say smash them, but I do think they're for me, comfortable favourites in this game.
Crikey, he's definitely got the Cape Verde buzz on now. He's got his shirt on.